Wake up! Wake up!
This is why I stand up. Because somebody has to. I gotta wake up the people.
Yes! Wake up the people.
Amen. That is exactly why I am doing this video, to educate the people, educate my people on the difference between Republicans and Democrats, so that you will know on the day of voting who to vote for. This is part 2, so enjoy what you're about to hear.
So I mean, just look at history, man. Every time somebody trying to stand up for black folks, man, look what happened. You know, and it's always leading to the Democrats. They're always the enemies. I mean, we supposed to think that this little 20-year-old kid didn't like what Donald Trump said, so he put his life on the line. No. He had help. You know, he had help. And I'm just trying to show you, man, who the real enemy is. You know, we've been taught that the Republicans are the enemy. They're the racists. And we've been taught wrong. We've been lied to. We've been tricked. Right? Let's keep watching this. So I wanted to point this out too, right? Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. The first one was George Washington. We know that because that's who's on our $1 bill, right? So Lincoln was the 16th president. And what I looked here on Google, he is also the first president that was assassinated while he was in office. Look at it, says Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States, was the first United States president to be assassinated, though not the first to die in office, because other people have died in office, but he was assassinated. He was the first one to be assassinated. So what that lets me know is from the time of George Washington all the way into Lincoln, everybody was cool with slavery. Nobody was tripping on it. Nobody was trying to come out of their comfort zone to fight against it. But Abraham Lincoln, he made history, right? And that's just to show you, man, Abraham Lincoln really pissed these people off by pushing for slaves to be free. They got so upset with him. And who was his enemy? His enemy is the Democrats. They got so upset with him that they try to assassinate him. That's the characteristics of the Democrats. Now look at that.
Lincoln was elected to unite a country and stop slavery. Democrats smeared him, went to war against him, assassinated him. Now their target is Trump.
America was never good! Slavery, genocide, and war!
Donald Trump wins the presidency.
They didn't like that. They didn't like that.
They say he's killing America.
There will be a vote.
MSNBC.
They say he's a racist.
This was a white lash.
And a fascist.
CNN. Bought and paid for by the Democrats.
Racists.
Northern Democrats had conspired together with Southern Democrats to take away the fruit of other people's labor.
Who are the real fascists?
Both Mussolini and Hitler set up and ran welfare states.
This was done by the do-gooders, the liberals, the people who wanted to improve society.
Which party attacks our free speech?
How dare you speak against the law?
Our religious
ain't that true? Listen, let me tell you something. This movie is called Death of a Nation. If you never watched this movie before, I encourage you to watch it. Go on YouTube, type in Death of a Nation. When it comes up, press on it. You're going to have a debit card or a credit card, and it's only going to charge you $3.99. It's like $4 and some change when it's finished, but it's worth it because it's educational. This will teach you the truth of how everything began, who was corrupted, who ain't corrupted, and who was for black people to set them free and who was not. And you'll see that same characteristic. One thing I can say about the Republicans, they ain't changed. They still for black people. They still for black people. They still helping black people. They ain't changed. Democrats ain't changed either. They ain't changed. They still the same people. Amen. But if it the movie Death of a Nation, man, he goes into in depth. He shows you about Mussolini. For those of you that never heard about Mussolini, he was like a dictator in Italy, and he pretty much ran the country. You know, he didn't. They was a Marxist. You know, they didn't believe in freedom of speech. They didn't believe that we should have guns. They didn't believe that about religion or anything. It was communist, and that's the way he was. He was a dictator. Hitler admired him, and Hitler did the same thing in his country against the Jews, the blacks, and things like that in the Soviet Union. You know, and while Hitler was doing that, the president FDR, Franklin Roosevelt, also admired Hitler, and Franklin Roosevelt was a Democrat, and he started accepting these ways. And these Democrats, they started, you know, that's what they're doing. They're following the pattern of Mussolini, the pattern of Hitler, of Marxists, the communists. They don't believe in religion. The Democrats are the one who got the Bibles out to school. They don't want to hear nothing about Jesus. They don't want to talk about God, nothing like that. The Democrats pushing for abortion. The Democrats is pushing for LGBT. They're now the ones bringing all these illegal immigrants. They kept the border open to bring them here, and they're destroying the country, man. I'm not going to say all of them, but it's a lot of them that are. You know, it's a lot of things that's going on right now that the Democrats is responsible for, man. These people are trying to destroy this country. They're trying to destroy this nation. Yep. So they're showing you that this guy that was under the leadership of Hitler, when he caught this woman trying to do freedom of speech, she was trying to, you know, pass these pamphlets out, you know, showing things about God and stuff like that. And she spoke against the things that Hitler was doing. This guy screamed at her, you know, basically, who are you to say anything about it? Because that's how they feel about us. The Democrats don't like that we have freedom of speech. Those are the ones attacking Twitter. Those are the ones now. You hear what did you hear what Kamala Harris said? They trying to go after X. They trying to shut down X. They trying to shut Twitter down. They don't like that Elon Musk bought it and he gave the freedom of speech back to the Americans again, where people now can vote. Because at first you can only voice your opinion about Joe Biden on there saying good things about him, but if you said bad things about him, you will be banned. If you said anything good for Trump, you'll be banned. You follow what I'm saying? They didn't want that. They only want you to say something good about Biden, and that's it. You know, which is robbing everybody of their freedom of speech, because everybody don't think alike. You know what I'm saying? And she's trying to do that right now. So that's the characteristics of a Marxist. That's the characteristics of Hitler and Mussolini, of taking control, where you don't have no more rights, you don't have no more control. You can't go out and work and become wealthy. You're going to have to totally rely and depend on the government, like how Castro did Cuba. That's what they're trying to do, and that's their goal. But anyway, this is a good movie to watch.
And our personal safety.
Yeah, you know, Hitler killed himself in the end.
People are not free. We too must fight for freedom, regardless of the price we pay.
An end in terror is preferable to a terror with no end.
The stakes could not be higher. We're talking about America, the greatest nation on earth.
Yes, it is.
Lincoln saved America for the first time. It's now up to us to save America
Death of a
second
nation.
time.
Man, I encourage y'all, man. I encourage y'all to watch that picture. If you haven't seen it before, please go and watch it. It's very educational. It will teach you about history, and it will show you how history repeats itself and how we're going through that right now. That's the same thing Donald Trump is trying to do for this nation. He's trying to save this nation. He see what the Democrats are doing. They're trying to destroy this nation. It's a lot of things they're doing. He know that ain't right, and he's trying to stand up and fight. And I'm going to tell you something. God is with that man, because if you think about it, every single time they had a chance, they try to impeach him 2 times. They try to put him in jail. They try to assassinate him. Now they're trying to bring up more charges. They done brought some woman out of the woods now saying that Donald Trump assaulted her, eons ago, and now she want to bring it up. They're just trying to mess up his character. And you know what, man? That ain't cool, man. We should. Every person is supposed to have the right to run for office and not have their political appointment trying to jail them and assassinate them. That's dictatorship. But they say he's a dictator. But that's dictatorship. The way they operate, that's dictatorship. And you're gonna learn everything that they say he doing, they're guilty of. And there's video evidence of them doing that. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the movie Uncle Tom. That's another good educational movie. Uncle Tom 1 and 2. And from what I learned here, this is how I learned that our people was Republicans. And I learned from his testimony, because this guy used to be a Democrat. And then one day he was just scratching his head, you know, should he really be a Democrat? Because, you know, you being a Democrat and you living in a Democratic neighborhood, and you seen how poor it is and how run down it is and how the buildings, homes are being vacated, people losing their homes, and there's becoming abandoned building, and the stores are raggedy and stuff like that. And you say, man, what's going on? These people getting this money and they ain't looking out for us. They ain't taking care of it, because the Republicans taking care of their neighborhood. I know this because I lived in a Republican neighborhood. Republicans take care of their neighborhood. They continue to building communities up, building stores, creating jobs, creating opportunities, keeping the place neat and clean and stuff like that. But in a Democrat neighborhood, is a difference because they don't care. They don't care, you know, and that's the truth. So this guy said he looked at the Republican platform. Now let's see what he says. Some of y'all probably seen the movie, and if you hadn't, check this out.
Second time.
Whenever I began to read the Republican Party platform, I didn't find one thing in there that I felt as a black man targeted me. I began to wonder, well, if I can't find anything in their platform, maybe I can find something in the Republican Party's past that gives me an example of how they targeted me as a black man. And I started with Abraham Lincoln, who was a Republican. You know, you can argue, well, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation as a war strategy. And you can argue that. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that it was a Republican who signed the Emancipation Proclamation. And then if you fast forward to women's suffrage, it was a Republican Chief Justice and William Taft that struck down laws that made it illegal for women to vote. If you look at Jim Crow, it was Republican votes in the Senate and in the House that was able to rid this country of Jim Crow.
Republicans. And this was in the 60s, 1960s, 100 years later, they still fighting for us.
Entities like the KKK, it was specifically intended to suppress the African Americans and keep them from voting for Republicans specifically.
Now look at that. Look at that. That makes so much sense too. It was the Republicans, it was the Democrats that formed the KKK. And the KKK job was to go out there and to bully the blacks, threatening them, because they know that blacks have been voting Republican from the day they've been released out of history all the way up until 100 years, all the way up until the 1960s. They've been voted, but the KKK, which was formed by the Democratic Party, they was their bullies to go out there and to kill us and to threaten us. You know, don't vote Republican no more. And now blacks were starting to vote Democrat out of fear. That's crazy, man. History's something else, man. That's why I asked y'all that question on this thumbnail. We gonna get to that, but you starting to see what I was saying. Look at that.
That was always what the KKK was founded to do.
A lot of black people were voting for Democrats.
Nah, a lot of people was voting for Democrats after that. But you gotta think about this too. Look at the connection with this. Do you know that Joe Biden, which is a Democrat, I don't know if y'all know, that in the 80s, he's the one helped form the crack law that put a lot of blacks and Hispanics in prison for unjust time, putting them in prison for a long time. A white person can get caught with a kilo of cocaine and get maybe more than 1 kilo, maybe 10 kilos and get like 5 years. But a black person can get caught with a key of crack of hard, and he end up getting a life sentence, but he can't come back out anymore. Now, you think that's just? And Joe Biden is the one that formed and put that thing together, because the purpose is, he said he didn't want those kids being around his kids. And I'm going to tell you how things run, man. Things are funny, man, because his kid, Hunter, ended up being a crackhead. We all know that. We seen him on the videos with that pipe, smoking that pipe. He's a crackhead. I don't know if he's still a crackhead, but he was. They have videos of him, footage of him doing that. Is he still temporarily? Is he actually doing it right now? I don't know, but he's accused of that. But what I'm saying is that Joe Biden did this. This was whoever did this. It was racially motivated to keep blacks and Hispanics off the streets. Right now, also, he said that his mentor was this guy that was in the KKK. He was like the leader of the KKK. And this man died, and Joe Biden, the Democrat, went to his mentor, the KKK, and spoke at his funeral. Now, if Joe Biden was not a racist, why is he so much of a friend with the racists? Because Democrats and KKK, there was a connection. There always been a connection. Joe Biden said he was his mentor. Even Hillary Clinton said that. Hillary Clinton said the same thing about him, and Clinton also spoke at his funeral. These are Democrats. The Democrats is at a KKK leader's funeral. That's the connection. So what these people are saying is true. All you got to do is know history, learn the right history, and watch educational programs like this, man. And you'll learn who the real enemy is, who the one that's destroying this country. They try to paint it. They always try to paint it like Donald Trump is destroying this country. But if you look at the things he did, you'll ask yourself, how? People are waking up now, though. People are waking up. We're not misinformed anymore. Thank God for the internet. Thank God for social media. Thank God that our only dependency is not on CNN, because they're not going to tell you this. Our only dependency is not on MSNBC, because they're not going to tell you this. They are just puppets for the Democrats. That news platform is bought and paid for by the Democrats. The Democrats own them. The people that's talking on there, they ain't none but puppets. Do not believe them. Do not listen to them. Do not follow them. Do not trust them. A news anchor person is supposed to be in the middle. They're not supposed to be for Democrats or for Republicans. They're just supposed to report the news as they see it. You follow what I'm saying? Not showing favoritism to this party or that party. If you understand, man, if you watch their show, they always set against Donald Trump, no matter what he do. And no matter what bad Joe Biden do, they won't even talk about it. That's bias. And the reason why they bias, because they get paid very well. They work for the Democrats.
Democrats, because they were being forced to. If you don't vote for Democrats, the Ku Klux Klan are going to come and lynch your eldest son.
Wow.
And so you fast forward to today, the message is still the same. If you don't vote for Democrats, the Republicans are going to come.
They can turn back voting rights. They can turn.
Look at this puppet. That's what he is, a puppet for the Democrats. I don't know if y'all ever heard, it's a movie also called Birth of a Nation. I was just telling you about Death of a Nation, but it was a movie before that called Birth of a Nation. And what they were showing you is how the slave masters, they would take a black person out of the people in the field, and if they find out, they would teach him how to read and teach him the Bible. And once he learned the Bible, they would tell him, go and tell them that they must obey their master, they must do this, they must do this. So he'll go forth and he'll preach whatever they tell him to preach. So he was like the puppet for them. He woke up later on and he stopped doing it and he lost his life. But that is showing you that that's how the Democrats is, because those are the Democrats. Those are the people that was for slavery. He was working for them, and we know that Democrats was pro-slavery. Anybody that had slaves was, if they voted for Democrats, right? Because they was for slavery. So people like him Al Sharpton. I don't know why they call him Reverend Al Sharpton. I ain't never heard him preach a sermon. I ain't never seen him on no Sunday service preaching or nothing. He's always up there babbling about how people are racist and they trying to keep us down. That's his whole message for I don't know how many years. You need to get past that, because he telling them how white people won't let you succeed in life. But he's a millionaire. He's living good. Why they ain't stopping him? Don't fall for that. He's a puppet.
And back many of the things that people suffered and died for. Didn't nobody donate to us the right to vote?
Oh,
It's the same Democratic Party. It's just they learned to play the game better.
We in the same ship. It's the same suit, just warmed over.
That's
it
right.
ain't nothing changed.
That's
the
right.
same party is doing the same thing they always been doing.
It's unfortunate, but history is written by academics.
No, look what this guy's saying. I like what he's saying. He's letting you know that history is written by academics, and this was motivated by the Democrats. So this stuff that's being taught, the history that's being taught in public schools, Democrats is over the public schools, and they don't want to educate our people in the truth. They don't want us, the same thing. They don't want us voting for Republicans, because they know if Republicans get into power, we'll be more educated, we'll be able to prosper more, we'll have liberty to do this and things like that. And they don't want that. So they will they're going to teach you in those public schools what they want you to learn. They're not going to tell you that Abraham freed the slaves and the other people was Democrats. They're not going to do that. They're not going to reveal that to you. They don't want you to know that, right? They don't want you to know the truth. They control the schools, the public schools, and they also control CNN, MSNBC, and a whole lot of newspaper articles. But I want you to hear what he's saying. Look how he break this down.
It's unfortunate, but history is written by academics, and academia is a tool of the left.
If you find a very educated Black American,
Listen.
somebody who got a 4.0 at a public high school, they are actively learning their history wrong. That's a part of the uphill battle that we have, is that if you are educated, you're actually miseducated.
When I was growing up, my mom was a Democrat, remained a Democrat her entire life. My dad was a Republican, remained a Republican his entire life. By the way, most blacks were Republican until the New Deal. My dad was born in 19...
See what he said? He said most blacks was Republican. In our generation, it seems unheard of. We think, and we've been taught and we've been told a lie, that we've been Democrats all our life. That is a lie. That is a lie. Listen.
15. And my dad, like most people his age, was a Republican. He never changed. My mom became a Democrat in large part because of Franklin Roosevelt.
To 30 millions of our citizens who will reap direct benefits through unemployment compensation.
Most blacks were Republican to the extent that they could vote before the New Deal. And then when the New Deal came, a number of blacks switched over to the New Deal. That switch has continued.
Only a few months before his tragic death,
Listen,
President Kennedy called upon the American Congress to pass the most far-reaching civil rights bill in the nation's history.
Protect the constitutional rights of all citizens.
The shift came with the presidential election between Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy. Martin Luther King Jr. had been in prison, and both sides asked their respective presidential candidate to give a courtesy call to Coretta Scott King and offer their condolences and their support, what have you. The rumor got out that John F. Kennedy did. And so the next thing you know, in every house down south, and I can say this from my own eyeballs, there were 3 pictures that hung in the living room of any black home down south. It was Jesus Christ, Martin Luther King Jr., and John F. Kennedy.
John Kennedy promoted a dramatic tax cut. He was a cold warrior. He was a hunter. He believed in the Second Amendment. John Kennedy's collection of views right now would make him a Republican. He would not be welcome within the Democratic Party.
No memorial oration
like Abraham
or eulogy could more eloquently honor
Try
President
to do something for the
Kennedy's
blacks and look what happened.
than the earliest
Democrats don't like that.
possible passage of the Civil Rights Bill.
They'll kill their own if they have to.
It goes back to the mid 1960s as to why blacks believe they should be Democrats.
Listen to this.
In 1964, the Civil Rights Act passed. Lyndon Johnson signed it. 1965, the Voting Rights Act passed. Lyndon Johnson signed it.
That's all he did was sign it. He didn't
So
want to
he
come up
got
with that
credit
law. Yep.
for those two major pieces of legislation. But here's what they don't tell you.
You understand? He got credit for something he didn't do. All he did was sign it into law because they killed John F. Kennedy, right? John F. Kennedy is the one that put that together. But the reason why Lyndon Johnson came in and signed it, he wanted to get credit for it because now he wants to appear to the black generation that, see, we Democrats, we love you. We trying to do this for you, which is a lie. They're not. It was a trick bait. All it was just trying to get us to go from that, from voting for Republicans to now thinking that, oh, they're our savior. And from that time, Democrats been telling them all white people are racist, the Republicans are racist. You want to stay with us? We're gonna take care of you. You won't have to work. We'll give you welfare. We'll give you food stamps. We'll do this for you. We'll do that for you, and things like that. And that's what caught us. You know, that's what caught black people. And ever since then, we've been voting Democrats. We feel like that's the way to vote for it. We feel like they take care of us.
That was a larger percentage of Republicans in Congress in both instances that voted.
We've been tricked.
Than the percentage of Democrats that voted for it.
Who enabled the civil rights legislation of 64 to pass were Senate Republicans, led by Everett Dirksen.
Look at that.
Everett Dirksen got an award from the NAACP for helping to shepherd the act into fruition. Most blacks are unaware of that. I didn't study that kind of stuff when I was in history.
President Johnson was able to get the civil rights bill passed, and it was perceived that it was an effort on the part of the Democrats. And so that's a perception and a narrative that has been created that caused the community to connect that event, momentous event, to the Democratic Party. And they have been using that idea to effectively create a perception.
Look at that. Look at Hillary
that
Clinton.
the best friend to
Nancy
the black community is the Democratic Party, which is far from
Bernie
the truth.
Sanders.
Black people have been taught that the Democratic Party wears the white hat when it comes to civil rights and racial justice, and Republicans have been described as wearing the black hat.
About 30%.
Man, we've been tricked, man. We've been tricked. Democrats, I'm speaking to black folks, my people, my skin color. After learning what we learned so far, knowing that in the beginning, see, this is what the preacher was talking about. When the preacher said, the Democrats can kill all of us and then say they sorry, and we'll go for that. Keep voting for them. Keep standing out there in that hot sun, voting Democrat no matter who. They didn't trick us. They'll put people our color in a place of office, and we'll, just as long as we keep voting for them. You know, they'll hire some people in their positions, put them in the Senate, put them in Congress, put them as mayor and governor and stuff like that, just for us to vote for them and keep the Democrats in power. They're very smart. They're very trickery. They're very smart. They know what they're doing. We just have to be wise enough to know what they're doing. The Democrats is the one that was for slavery. Republicans fought for us, lost their lives for us. Abraham Lincoln got murdered for us so that we'd be free. John F. Kennedy lost his life for us. Martin Luther King shot in the head trying to set us free. Ronald Reagan got assassinated. Well, he didn't get assassinated, but he got shot up because he was trying to liberate us, trying to set us free, trying to make America great again. Donald Trump did the same thing, brought all them black folks inside of the White House, all the Christians praying, having Bible studies. He's doing stuff for black people. He got black people, he opening up their eyes. Now a lot of black people is for Trump. A lot of Hispanic people is for Trump. And what they do, they try to assassinate him. So Ladies and gentlemen, just want to wake your eyes up. I want you to listen to this man right here. This man make a lot of sense. Listen to what he's saying.
The black vote has left the Democratic Party.
That's right.
Over the last year.
Blacks is leaving.
It started
Democrat.
with our George Floyd interview, and then black people started paying attention, and now it's leaving. And Joe Biden's in a panic. The Democrats are in a panic. This is catastrophic for them. No Republican has gotten over 20% of the black vote. Nobody's gotten over 15%. If Trump gets 20% of the black vote, the Democratic Party is done forever.
Do you think he has a chance?
Oh, I think he's got a chance to get more. My next podcast coming out this Tuesday is going to be Donald Trump, the true first black president. Because the Democrats have finally done to Donald Trump what they've been doing to black men for 200 years. What they did to Donald Trump in New York is the Rodney King tape of the Democratic Party coming after white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Most coups start at the top. They don't start at the bottom. We very seldom see a Mao Zedong coup where they fight for 20 years.
Right.
That's true.
Usually they go and shoot them in the head. They
shoot the
and
head
take over
first.
like they're doing in Africa right now, right?
Yeah.
They go to the top and just kill him and they're in charge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they try to do to Trump. Trump is not just the leader of the Republican Party. Trump is the leader of white Anglo-Saxon Protestants who these people despise and hate. They have an enemy that they're trying to kill. And it is the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. It's not that they dislike him. The evangelicals, they despise them. If you put that group and you talk about what they agree with and about what the Democrats and liberals agree with, polar opposites. Direct polar opposites. And they know that Trump is the leader of that crew, that crowd. That crowd is his basis. That crowd is where he gets all of his power. And
because the church is against abortion, the church is against homosexuality, the church is against them coming against freedom of speech. The church is against a lot of things that the Democrats is that the Democrats is trying to push, and that's what makes the Democrats hate the church, because that's why they try to abandon the Bibles. They don't, not the Bibles, but you can't. They didn't want the 10 Commandments in class. They didn't want nobody speaking about Jesus. They don't allow them to talk about it in movies unless it's a Christian movie. But your regular Hollywood, that's run by Democrats, they don't allow them to say Jesus and things like that. When the news media interviewing somebody and somebody say something about Jesus, they act like the signal went out. They lost connection because they don't want the viewers to say anything about that. That is Democrats, them rats.
And they know that if they take out Trump, who's going to take his place?
That's
Who
true.
can walk up right now?
Nobody can do that right now.
If Donald Trump is destroyed in the
Not in
Republican
this
Party and says, and have that crowd come behind him like they've come behind Trump. I don't think the person exists. And they know that. And so this was how the Democratic Party does it cool. Now they got Trump. I mean, people don't see what this is.
Yes.
When's the last time you saw somebody?
You see what he said? He said, people don't see what this is. And that's the same thing I'm saying. From what I learned about Abraham Lincoln, from what I learned about JFK, from what I learned about Martin Luther King, and from Ronald Reagan, and now this with Donald Trump, man, this is like history repeating itself. And it's always the same enemy from the beginning all the way until now doing the same thing. They always use it's always some innocent person, not innocent person, but there's always somebody that's not a part of the Democrat. Because you notice when they found that kid, they said that he was a registered Republican. Come on, man, that's the throw off, man. That's the throw off. They had that man registered as a Republican in the past because they know what they was going to do to him, because they was going to try to cover their tracks. Come on, man, ain't nobody stupid, man. You have to be real dumb and to be ignorant of history and to understand what these people been doing and what they're capable of for you to believe that this guy was a Republican.
Somebody go to jail for contempt of Congress. How come Eric Holder's not in jail?
Yup.
Or Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden.
Banner's going to jail.
Joe Biden.
Navarro's in jail. Trump's the first person in the history of the country they ever tried for what he tried before. Oh yeah, they coming. And what they're doing is shooting across the bow to see how we respond to it. Because if we don't respond to it, they're going to keep doing it. And right now, the people are responding in a way that they didn't expect. They see it. What's the old poem? They came for the labor unionists.
I said nothing. Yeah,
I said nothing, and they came for the soldiers. I said something, and they came for the Jews, and I said nothing, and they came for me. There's no one to speak for me, and that's why you and I speaking out and telling people whether you like Trump or not is irrelevant at this time. They're coming, and they're not going to stop because evil people and crazy people don't know how to stop.
That's true.
They don't stop until everybody's dead. If history tells us nothing, it tells us that. Adolf Hitler went until Germany was destroyed. Mussolini did the same. The crazy jokers in Japan did the same. They kept going until the nation was destroyed. These people have taken abortion from Roe v. Wade all the way to 9-month abortion. Now they're in perinatal abortion. You hear about that in California?
Yes, and it is.
No.
They're voting for an abortion bill that will kill a child 28 days after it's born.
Man. Who's doing that? It's not the Republicans. It's the Democrats. These people are evil and wicked. They're not only because what they're trying to do is kill off our race. That's what they're trying to do. They feel like it's overpopulated, and they feel like they're gods. They have the right to determine who lives long and who lives a short period of time. They are telling you that you can abort your baby. Look when they had the DMC. Just to show you how the Democrats is behind things like this. When they had that DMC, they had the people outside, Parenthood, outside doing free abortions. Anybody who want to kill your baby, just come over here. We won't even charge you. And that motivates everybody to come over there and kill their children because they're really against you having children. They're trying to kill off your race, but we don't understand that. We too stupid out here talking about my body, my choice. Y'all didn't let the Democrats put that in your ear, my bodies and my choice. But them the same people that was in your ear telling you, you have to get this vaccine. It's not your body. It's not your choice. It's what I say. You know, and then now later on they tell you, oh yeah, you get abortion. Oh, your body, your choice. And we so dumb, man. We fall for that, man. Not thinking about what they're doing. But now they're saying that at first they were saying if a person wanted to get abortion at 3 months or 4 months, it seemed like it was cool. Then now they said up to 6 or even 8 months or even 9 months. Now they are passing a bill that even if the woman have the baby and it can be up until 28 days, she can take it home and then come back and say, you know what, I don't want it anymore. And they'll probably tell her, okay, just put it on the table. We ain't gonna feed it no more. We just gonna leave it there till it starves itself to death and die. Man, if that's not cruel, if that's not evil, if that's not wicked, then I'm sorry. I don't know what wicked and cruel and evil is.
Yes, it's in the house in California. Perinatal, after birth.
And Gavin Newsom gonna sign it.
Why? Because our argument was solid with them. Well, when does life begin? We started kicking their butts. It begins at conception. Okay. Well, we can kill them in 3 months. Well, what about 1? Well, what about 5 months? Well, okay. Then, well, okay, you're right. We'll take it to the 9th month then. Well, if you can take it to the 9th month, why not after? You're giving us permission to do that. You've given us permission to commit murder. Let's do it. It's logical, isn't it? Why not? Our logic is winning out, Tucker, and they're telling us, yes, you're right. We can kill them anytime we want to. The same thing with our logic when it came down to homosexuality and all this kind of stuff. They said about, oh, no, people are born gay, but then they did the Human Genome Project, right? Didn't find no gay gene. They did the twin study. And when one twin was gay, the other twin was gay only about maybe 20-25% of the time. So it couldn't be in the DNA. You see what I'm talking about? So they start saying, no, what? No, it's a choice. You're right. But we've gotten the law passed now. They don't try to argue that any longer. It's irrelevant. The law's passed. And right now, since states can now do whatever they want to do when it comes down to abortion, hell, I guess it's just a matter of legalisms, isn't it? Like Dred Scott. Dred Scott is not a man that a white man has no rights and a white man need to adhere to. So you've told us with abortion, and this has always been amazing to me. I remember when Scott Peterson killed his wife, him and Lacey.
Yes.
Remember he's charged with 2 murders, isn't he?
Yes.
How is that? When the baby wasn't born yet.
It was
How is that?
In other words, when Scott killed his wife that was pregnant, they charged him with 2 murders: her murder and the child's murder, because he killed her and the baby died inside of her womb. That's murder. How come it's not murder when you talking these girls, these young girls, into abort their baby? They're doing the same thing. They're killing that child that's in the womb. Well, I tell you, these people are hypocrites, man.
Because everybody knows that.
Everybody knows.
It's a person, of course.
It's life.
Everybody knows. But we have said that the mother has a right to kill that child whenever she chooses. So if it's a person here, it's a person. Oh, it's a person here. They know it. But we've allowed that legalism. We've allowed it to stay. And now we have to deal with it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is coming to the end of the show, to the end of the program. So my question is to black folks, my folks, my people. I got a question for you. You saw it on the thumbnail, but now I'm about to ask you myself out of my mouth. The question I have for the black folks is, after learning all this, what you learned today, why are you voting for Democrats? Why would you stand in line and vote for people who don't care nothing about you, who aim in the beginning was to put you in slavery, keep you in slavery? Their intention was you to still be in slavery today. They never wanted us to be free. They assassinated people who tried to set you free. Even if they was a part of their own party, they felt like they was a betrayer. They betrayed them, and murder was their sentence. Republicans are the one that fought for us in the Civil War, lost their lives for us to be free. Ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to destroy this nation. They're trying to destroy this country. If you vote for them, you're putting them in that position to destroy this nation. Don't vote Democrats. I've heard people say, well, I ain't going to tell you who to vote for. I'm going to tell you who to vote for. Vote for Trump. Vote for Trump. God is using Trump to save this nation the same way he used Abraham Lincoln to save the nation back then. Do the right thing. Be on the right side of history, not the Democrat history. Be on the right side of history, the Republican history, because the Republicans have more godly principles than these people do. Black folks, Hispanic folks, white folks, Indian folks, let's just say American citizens, do not vote for Democrat. Vote Republican all the way down the board. Let's change this nation and let's make this nation great again. God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. The next one is going to come up is Christians. Why are you voting Democrat? You're going to see what I have to say about it now. God bless you guys. See you on the next one.
Oh, wake up, yeah. Our people, they need us to focus and rise. I wish that my rallies would open their eyes. There's nothing to win if we've broken the prize. Buffoonery's killing community. How many more of our children must bleed for lust of the flesh and material greed? But I give you my word, I am here if you need. I am here if you need. Yeah. Yeah. Return back to Jesus, I promise he'll heal us of sin. Brotherly love, we can feel it again. Die to this hate and be healed from within. Please beat me up above all this rain. Yeah, fly me away. Please fly me away. Please beat me up to clearer skies. I just want to see my Savior eye to eye.